I have tinnitus in both ears. The sound I miss is silence. If it gets too quiet, all I can hear is the ringing. Birds. My cat meowing to be let in. The kettle going off when it's boiled. Most music. Being able to go to the movies. Not really on topic, but when I got my hearing aids, and I could once again hear my feet hitting the floor while I walked or shifted them, it scared the absolute garbage out of me. I had hearing, then gradually lost it, and it was restored by a cochlear implant, so I got a second chance. What I really missed was normal conversation. Being able to talk with someone without asking a zillion times what they said, or struggling to hear every other word and then put the parts together. Family dinners were really hard. I could hear the person across from me, but everything else was a blur. People would laugh and I wouldn't get the joke. That's all changed. Some of the more fun things I've rediscovered. My Maine Coon cat's purring, very loud and quite often. The quiet rumble of distant thunder. My fridge has an alarm when the door is left open. Grateful? Hell yeah. I'm deaf in my left ear. I miss walking on the right side of my friends. I miss being able to hear my daughters laugh. I definitely don't miss the crying though. I went to watch Avengers Endgame on the weekend, and I remember distinctly being able to hear less and less with every Marvel movie really. I genuinely heard about 10% of the entire movie dialogue. The cinema was laughing at scenes and I had no idea what happened. All the discussions everyone had after taught me more about the movie than what I had even watched. It was incredibly frustrating. About an hour in, I just wanted to go home and cry from trying so hard to actively hear and not hearing anything at all. And it gets so emotionally draining like that most days. Being with friends and not hearing anything, or always having to ask to repeat and always just being behind and feeling stupid. Don't ruin your hearing. It is an incredibly precious and fragile thing. Woke up a couple months ago deaf in my left ear. I miss music and stereo. Started the cochlear implant insurance approval yesterday. I'm not deaf, but I've suffered hearing loss, and I miss hearing my cat purr. The lovely voice of my wave. I started to lose my hearing 7 years ago. Completely gone in 2016. I now have bilateral cochlear implants and can hear once again. Albeit it's completely artificial. I miss clarity, high fidelity hearing. While cochlear implants are tremendous technology that have helped me adapt and continue to participate in the hearing world, they simply cannot replicate natural hearing. Don't get me wrong, many sounds I hear sound the same. Simple sounds like car doors slamming, raining hitting my windshield, dogs barking, birds chirping, my wife's voice, but complex sounds require a lot of work, and that is what I miss. It was not until I was bilaterally implanted where music started to be pleasurable again rather than painful. Emotionally. Never Enough, from The Greatest Showman. Credit to Lauren Allred, is the first song that I have heard only through my cochlear implants that has emotionally moved me, like many songs did prior to my hearing loss. I miss that. I would love to go to a movie again and experience the booming sounds of Dolby Digital. Enhanced virtual 7000x channel surround sound. I would love to go to a concert again and just rock out. Too loud of a concert and my processors clip out. I would love to hear the natural voices of my niece and nephew. I have only heard them through my cochlear implants. I would love to be in a social setting and be able to keep up with the laughter, jokes and general fun conversations. It takes a lot of active listening to keep up, and I often miss punchlines and conversation starters when I am in a crowd. Edit. For those interested, I have met cochlear implants with Sonnet processors. This thread made lower my headphone volume. Whispers. People's most intimate and devious thoughts come through a whisper. I certainly don't miss the sound of the entire world chewing with their mouths open. I suffer from hearing loss. I hate having to ask someone to repeat themselves 4 to 5 times in school. I'm slowly losing my hearing. I miss not having to hold the remote in my hand to turn up, down the volume while my so is sleeping. When there's just talking I have to turn it up. Then action scenes, music and background noise is too loud so I have to turn it back down. I turned the subtitles on a few months ago and it's changed my life. I miss not having to say, "I can't hear you. You need to yell at me." Like when I'm doing dishes. I can't hear someone who's standing next to me talking normally. I miss the feeling of clear ears. Mine constantly feel like I need to pop theme this year. Luckily I live on a mountain so once in a while, when I'm going down the mountain, one of my ears will give a good pop and feels better for a little while. I miss not hearing my voice echoed in my head. If you don't know what I mean, put your fingers in your ears and talk is all around garbage tea. But I've accepted my fate. Edit. Here's the sounds I will miss the most when it's gone. Someone mentioned their cat purring. I can't imagine. Birds, the sound of rain, me dogs snoring, the voices of the people I love, and notifications, phone calls, background music, sound effects in movies, TV shows and video games. Y'all know that blah loop sound in old school Mario. I can't imagine what it would be like to not hear that sound. I won't be able to hear sound effects and I'm gonna have to make them up for myself. My one cat cries for attention. My other cat words. He says Mom, Dad, Matt, out, no and hey. He straight up talks to you, and the fact that I won't be able to distinguish between his meows kills me. He's kinda old, so there's a good chance he'll be gone before I'm totally deaf. I'll miss so much visual TV because I'll be busy reading the dialect, knowing that the washer, dryer, dishwasher are still running, hearing water as it runs, hearing doors open, close so you know someone is leaving, going, oh oh. Fireworks, gunshots, loud bass, great V8 motors, pretty much any kind of motor. Hearing what's wrong with your car. Seriously, I love just hearing a two-stroke motor, or the sound of a Harley, a well-maintained V8. I saw a V12 Mercedes about a week ago and I'll never forget that sound. The V12 Jaguars purr. When the V12 Mercedes roar. I will miss those sounds when they're gone. I'll be able to feel them, but not hear theme this year. I am lucky enough to know some people with some nice cars, motorcycles, dirt bikes and quads, that I can ask someone to bring me for a ride or let me stand next to it with my hands on it. One of the worst parts about this is that my eyesight is garbage too. The progression has slowed down in the past 5 years while my hearing is going. I used to go down at least 0.25 in vision since I was 12. But now I'm down to about 0.07, so I only need glasses every 2 years or so. My intuition has gotten better. Smell has gotten better and touch has gotten stronger. My family, 5 people, try to scare me at least once a day. The last time I was scared was an accident. My son opened the bathroom door as I was going by and I jumped. It's been almost 2 weeks and he's still bringing it up. Edit 2. My autocorrect changed cat to cats and I fixed it. 16 years ago, I lost my hearing to a wicked double-edged infection. Went completely deaf for several weeks. But my hearing slowly returned as my ears healed. Unfortunately, due to the scar tissue on my tympanic membranes, I suffered permanent impairment, but I was too vain to get hearing aids until last year. I'd forgotten the sound of a campfire. The popping and cracking brought tears to my eyes the first time I heard it again. It's a small thing, yet I can remember the sound of grit bouncing up the metal tube of the vacuum cleaner. I know the sound is still there, but I do not hear it now. My wife farting because smelling it before hearing it always catches me off guard. I was born deaf in one ear. It was actually only recently I figured out everyone else can sorta pinpoint the direction of a sound. It seems like a really cool thing I wish I could do. Glad to have my other ear at least. I can sorta still hear. Cochlear, but I lost my hearing back when I was 5, in 1986. I remember talking on the landline phones at the time, and while I could clearly hear the person, They sounded far away. That's what I remember. I wonder if landline phones sound like that today still. I briefly courted a girl who lost her hearing to a horse kick. While discussing it, she told me that she missed hearing all the sounds that accompany the sunrise. Not deaf, but I got a ringing in my ear, and it's just annoying. Simple as that, especially when trying to go to sleep. But my mom has sudden neural sensory hearing loss in both ears. Luckily, the cochlear implants worked. However, music does not sound the same at all. She loves live music and always played CDs at home. She is very sad about how music sounds. She can only listen to music she knows because her brain sort of fills in the gaps. But any new music just sounds weird to her. Losing her hearing changed her life. Coincidentally, since hearing loss is an inner ear problem, she doesn't drink anymore. She says it already feels like she's had a margarita 24/7. This might be slightly unrelated, but I lost most of my hearing in one ear when I was 6. I had surgery, one of those water pumps, medication, etc. The doctor said that one day my ear would unblock, whether that be due to medication or on its own. Fast forward, when I was around 14-15, painting in art class, my ear randomly unblocked. It was really loud and overwhelming for a second. It wasn't that big of a deal to me at the time, so I never mentioned it and went home. But when I played music on my headphones, it sounded great. The quality was so much better and I could hear every detail in the song. Same as others here. I can hear, but I've lost almost 60% ability in the last 15 years. I miss conversation that doesn't require complete concentration. Being able to shoot the garbage with someone while playing games or driving or watching TV is no longer an option for me. Hearing aids help a lot, but I still need to focus on what you are saying and watch your mouth as you speak to best understand. I've lost a lot of my high-frequency hearing. I miss listening to grasshoppers on a summer night. But on a positive note, I'm not being held awake by mosquitoes in my bedroom either. So it's lose one, win another, I guess. The most annoying thing is that I'm unable to have a conversation in a room with just a moderate level of background noise, for instance at lunch or family dinners. It all becomes a big puddle of noise. I'm mostly deaf in my left ear, but because of a back issue can only sleep on my right side. This means my right ear is smooshed on the pillow and completely muffled. When my lady tells me I'm beautiful, tells me she loves me, whispers my name, it's a killer. I don't give a darn about anything else. Not hearing that is awful. I miss being able to participate in conversations. Not really much of a problem IRL because I don't get out much. But online I have a lot of friends and I just can't hang out. Not in the same way. If they want to play a game, one can't join voice and joke around or talk like everyone else. If they need me to do something in-game or want to say something, they have to type it out. I tend to die a lot in some games because I can't hear danger approaching, so I'm annoying to play with. My friends say it's not a big deal, and yet they conveniently forget to ask me along to play. It's depressing and isolating. Other things I miss: hearing my dog bark, a lot of music. I still remember a lot of music, but what likes to play through my head all the time consists of Deck the Halls and the Lost Woods song from Ocarina of Time. I hate them both. It's been years. The sound of rain and thunderstorms, which used to be one of my favorite things in the world, being able to make a phone call to resolve things right away rather than having to wait for customer service emails that can take anywhere from a few hours to 2 weeks or more, knowing what I sound like. My ex-girlfriend said I still have some of my Texan drawl. One of my worst fears is now that when I have kids or get married, something will happen to them, and I won't even be able to hear it, knowing what is going on around me. I've been grabbed by the police for not stopping when I didn't even know they were there. Gotten plenty of dirty looks. Been startled quite often. And not long ago I was spit on by a woman in the grocery store because I didn't know she asked me to move while I was looking at eggs. I'm usually good at spatial awareness, but that only gets me so far when people come up behind me, podcasts or background music. I've read transcripts of several podcasts. It's just really not the same. I used to like to read while listening to music. Being able to listen to a podcast or music while washing dishes or something would be awesome. Having to read transcripts makes it the sole focus rather than something to do while I'm completing some mindless task. Whistling. I love to whistle and was really good at it, pranking people by meowing exactly like a cat. All those were fun at it. Also, crackling fire and crunchy leaves. Not deaf but hearing impaired. I love walking in the woods, and greatly miss the sound of birds chirping. The woods used to sound full of life. Now I can't hear them at all for the most part. And just listen to one of those sounds of nature CDs of bird song at high volume. Scientists are about to start testing a drug that has successfully regrown ear hair cells in mice. So I'm hopeful that 10 years from now that I'll be able to hear again. What? I'm losing my hearing and will eventually go deaf. I think I will miss being able to listen to my angsty music. Interpol and placebo mostly. Right now all I get is constant ringing in my ears to the point I can't really hear people all that well. AMD have to keep asking them to speak louder. I'm studying engineering. Downside? The noise is deafening in the workshop 50% of the time. My hearing has been damaged to the point that I need a person to repeat themselves at least once or twice.